Activision devs do not play their own game. It's not your dad doesn't support you.
You should know, you worked at a coffee shop, you stupid bitch.
My name is Casey, and absolutely not fucking Tanner, because my parents don't hate me that much.
Hey, did they have just 8 patches lined up, but they just didn't release them because they were on break? No, you moron kids.
Then we'll, of course, get into it. Change your fucking name and get scammed. He's feeling under the weather.
I probably won't say another word until Stay Humble, so have a good pod, Raz. I'll be here listening.
Got it. We are live. Welcome, boys and girls, to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 241. And we're back, baby. We're back in the swing of things. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. I am joined, as always, by my good friend Tanner. Tanner, say hello to everyone.
Hey, sorry, I was just reading through all these patch notes, trying to see what we're covering today.
Yeah,
reading through that long list. Yeah,
super long list of super long patch notes and changes and news items. Yeah, a lot today. So
if we can cover all of it.
That's of course a joke. Not much to talk about today in the way of the COD, but we're gonna give you all the updates anyway, as we are wont to do. And besides that, there are a couple of announcements relating to the program that we're going to get into beforehand. So today we have an episode, pretty light one. I would expect that next week we will have more to talk about, some more substantive things. I don't know if we're going to have any big changes by next week. Certainly not big, but we're probably going to have a couple changes. Hopefully some weapon balancing, frankly. And then we might have some big news items next week. Surprisingly, since last week, we haven't really heard anything about DMZ, MW2, or Warzone 2. Although we did hear one thing about DMZ that I kind of want to talk about. I'm glad I remembered to. Let me write this sucker down here. There we go. So, before we get into all that, a couple of announcements. First, welcome to our new gold patrons. And we got a lot. And now this is 2 weeks worth of patrons. So you can divide this number in half, see how well we're doing. But this isn't bad. And I'll always take new patrons. And now's a great time to join the Patreon. As I've said before, be like these people. Scott Trick 90, change it. Welcome. Oat Milk, absolutely change it. Welcome as well. We got Grant L, who I don't know what that last name is, by the way. It's vaguely Eastern European, I think. And it's a guy on the shore of a lake or river or creek or brook or stream. It's a body of water that isn't the ocean. So it's any body of water except the one you might want to go to have fun. So cool. Good job, Grant. You've really fucked this one up. And he's doing something, and I can't tell what it is. You have any speculation?
He's holding up a fish, probably. If I had to guess, he's looking fishing, at the camera, and he's holding a fish. It's so tiny we can't see it, though.
That's correct, yeah. So get better at fishing, Grant. And welcome aboard, buddy. We also got Ben H, who used his LinkedIn profile picture for our Patreon as well. That is a LinkedIn profile picture if I've ever seen one. From young Ben here.
Looks handsome.
Looks like a handsome kid, yeah,
very
for sure.
Handsome, yeah.
Nice little beard.
Crepe beard, yeah.
I think we're balding, but it's hard to tell from this profile picture. We got
is he wearing a suit,
widow's
or is
peak.
that like a collared shirt?
That would appear to be a very, very relaxed and casual button-up shirt. Yeah, there is a collar.
Nice color.
It's a pretty little powder blue color, yeah. So Ben, welcome aboard. We got Distortion, change it, with a little octopus head avatar thing. That's a gamer. It's a gamer avatar. And Jordan K, who's rocking the cop glasses. He's taking a picture that's entirely too close to his face. Zoom out more. And he's on a hike, it looks like. overlooking a city, it would appear. Can't really tell, but that's what it would seem. So,
say overlooking the mountains, yeah. So he's doing a little mountainous hike.
Yeah, he's on it. He's trailed.
He's
up
a mountain man for sure.
He's trailed up with some trail mix in his pocket, probably. So Jordan, welcome aboard, and all of you, welcome to the Patreon at the gold tier. Very much appreciated. Very kind of you, and we appreciate it. Who do we appreciate more? Robert C. Robert D/C. Don't know which. I don't know which you would say. Probably D. Our new annual gold patron, saving himself some cash. He's the first person to be smiling in his profile picture.
He looks happy. Looks like
a happy guy. He's got some glasses on. Looks like a strong kid. That's a big left bicep, it would seem. I don't need many pixels to tell you that's a big arm. Those are some 22s right there.
How big is his other thing?
Big as his cock? Maybe. Robert, our new annual gold patron. Welcome aboard, buddy. Very much appreciated. Saving that cash. Locking it in for lots of bonus eps, dude. Lots of bonus eps. We appreciate that, Robert. Welcome. Also, Dadticle. So, by the way, let me say this, because Dadticle got very upset in Discord, and he threatened to use one of the many items in his considerable arsenal and visit our homes.
The old arsenal, yeah.
The old arsenal, yeah. And he said, hey, I'm real upset because I resubscribed as an annual Damascus fucking King and Chad, and I didn't get a shout out. First of all, we haven't done shout outs in 2 weeks, so calm down. Second of all, we don't get notifications for that, unfortunately. So I'm going to say this. Dadticle, thank you and welcome back. And you're a king, and congrats on being an unemployed loser like we are. That is very cool and exciting, and it seems like it's working out so far, so congrats. And thank you and welcome back. And yeah, if you didn't say anything, we wouldn't have said anything either, because we don't get notified when people like whatever. Yeah,
kind of cringe.
It is cringe.
We don't get notified of that, actually.
And to be clear, we wouldn't shout out everyone who became a patron again the following month or whatever, because that would be 300 names every month. We're just not ever going to do that. But for an annual Damascus, Chad, we would do it. Yeah. So regardless, Dadticle, thank you, buddy. We love you, and we're glad you're back, dude, for another year of debauchery. And now's a good year, once again. Warzone 2, DMZ, MW 2, a lot of good shit coming.
Yeah.
And last and certainly not least, and it's been a long time, but someone has claimed the Obsidian Throne once again. The Obsidian Throne was vacated at a time that we don't know about. We have a special Patreon tier called the Obsidian Patron. It's only one slot. You don't get anything extra for it. You get all the Damascus perks, but that's it. It's 50 United States dollars a month. And the only perk is bragging rights. And we wouldn't have added it, but the Vaping Viking, friend of the program, real dumb fuck, wasted a lot of money on this dog shit podcast, requested we add it. So we're like, all right, sure. And then he was the first man on the throne, the Obsidian Throne. But it's been vacated, and it's been swooped up by Jess S. Holy shit, man. Now, we have a lot of questions, because there is a man and woman in the profile picture. And Jess is an androgynous, gender ambiguous name. So I don't know which of these people is in fact sitting on the Obsidian Throne at this time.
Yeah.
I would venture a guess that it's the guy. I would venture a guess. But
I hope it's a female. That'd be our first female.
Say that again?
Yeah, so I feel like it's the man.
It's just
I would like it to be the female. It'd be our first female Obsidian patron ever.
Yes.
That'd be breakthrough. That'd be a breakthrough for society, really. I did some research though, trying to figure out who this was.
Oh no!
And they joined our Discord only 10 days ago.
Wow!
And the name is just Sealy. So I'm gonna assume since they're going by Sealy,
okay,
it's probably the guy.
That's a fair.
That's
assumption.
what I'm going with.
Yeah.
And I think that's them. They've never typed in Discord. I don't know why they joined at the Obsidian tier. Maybe they didn't know what they were doing. Maybe they accidentally misclicked on it. Did you misclick on it, buddy?
Zero at the end. Yeah. No refund.
Thanks for the $50.
Yeah, get scammed for sure. Jess, actually get scammed and welcome you. You are now sitting on the Obsidian throne, and we appreciate that. You don't get anything for it, but you do get all the Damascus perks.
It's our fourth Obsidian ever.
It's
our fourth Obsidian patron ever, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yep. Not many can claim to have sat on the Obsidian throne, dude. But Jess, you're one of them, buddy.
Sealy,
whatever.
That's what he goes by. Yeah. That's what they go by.
This individual, or maybe it's the couple that's an Obsidian. The Obsidian.
Oh, it could be
royal court.
Yeah. It could be.
It's possible. Well, Sealy, thank you very much, dude, dudette, person, people, couple, group, pair. We very much appreciate it, and that's extremely kind and generous of you. And welcome aboard, and enjoy all those Damascus perks. Now, speaking of the Patreon, why join the Patreon? Well, 7 bonus eps a month, monthly hangouts, and more. We did our last hangout. It was a treat, which I believe we've talked about. I don't know if we talked about it publicly.
No, because this is our first pod publicly since we've done it.
Yeah, so we decided to do Rocket League. I had the idea to do Rocket League because it's free to play now. And it went better than I thought it would. It was really fun. One of the best hangout ideas we've had. And it's nice because, again, it's free, so you don't really have to, no one has to buy anything. And people don't come on their phone anymore. So that wasn't a problem either. So everyone who wanted to play, played. And Jaron was a great time.
And he used a Switch to play. It's so cross-platform, you can use a Nintendo Switch to play with us.
Which I forgot that existed.
There were people on PC, there were people on console, and there's Jaron on his Nintendo Switch. That's pretty nutty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank Rash for that amazing hangout idea. No one would have ever thought of that.
So that was a lot of fun. So for those of you who are Damascus patrons, for our next hangout, I don't know what we're going to do next, but it's going to be fun because we've done movie night, which was a great time. We've done poker night, which was really fun. And now we've done Rocket League, which was also really fun.
Yeah, Rocket League was dope.
Yeah, so we've got like a few really good, fun ideas in the rotation that we can kind of pull from for future hangouts. So if you are a Damascus patron, try and make the next hangout because I don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to be fucking fun. We've been having a lot of fun at these hangouts lately. I'm glad because these are a result of the kind of Patreon restructuring we did a few months ago where we're going to plan these more, think about them more. And it's been paying off in spades, I would say. That was really fun. So thanks to everyone who was there. And for those of you who are not, we'll do another one and another one for our Damascus patrons. So that was a good time. And also, obviously, we do bonus eps for the Patreon. And we had one release today for our Platinum and Damascus and Obsidian patrons. And we did Season 4 Second Impressions. This is a long ep. It was a fun ep. And we said a lot. We said a lot that was different than our first impressions episode. How do you think that went?
I thought that was a really, really good one. Yeah, that was... that could have easily been a public episode, honestly. It was so long, but we also didn't know it was going to go that long because we just had so much more to say because we played a lot since our first impressions. And a lot of things changed. We talked about like different meta stuff. Yeah, that was... more map observation. That was a really, really good episode, I thought.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Long boy, getting a lot of good feedback on that one already, too.
Yeah. So for you Platinum and Damascus patrons, that is available. And then tomorrow morning, if you're hearing this on an app, this episode will also be live. We did, for every patron, a Warzone brainstorm. And turns out it had been like almost 2 months since we did our last brainstorm. So it was long overdue, and that was really fun as well. And a lot has changed since our last brainstorm. So that was really good. And that went so well that we actually came up with a new idea while recording it, which I am pleased with. These are like probably my favorite episode types to do for the Patreon, besides the behind the scenes eps, are the brainstorms. And it's for exactly that reason. Like, I was like, through talking about the brainstorm and thinking about things to do or try, we actually thought of a new idea to try that's like probably smarter, but we have to try it to be sure. And I always love when that happens in these brainstorms, and I thought that one went super well as well. And if you're here live, it's not live yet, that episode, but it will be by the time you're listening to this on an app or on YouTube. What are your thoughts on that absolute little app?
Yeah, because right after we did that one, we went and played Fortune's Keep and tried a bunch of those things we had talked about. True. Yeah. Yep. I mean, like, immediately after that episode. And one thing we didn't talk about in that, because we were doing like a kind of like the current perk discussion, is I was trying to figure out, because I was running Tempered as my second perk, my red perk, so I wasn't getting overkill. I was only taking an SMG and then picking up an AR if I wanted one. And my third perk, I was like, I don't even know what I want. I don't even need a third perk. I don't care about any of them. I don't care about any of the yellow perks. They don't matter. And I was like, you know what? Since I don't ever know what's going on, I'm gonna just try Tracker. How about that? You know? And I swear to God, Tracker's probably the best yellow perk on Fortune's Keep, because you don't know where anyone's going ever. If you're like in town or something, like they could go anywhere. They just keep running away from you. Tracker literally got me so many kills in the town area because I knew exactly what path they took, and I just kept following it, and I'd kill them. It was insane, actually. Like, okay, this makes sense. It's a horrendous perk. Even on Rebirth, it's not good. But specifically on Fortune's Keep, I feel like Tracker is a good perk now. It's a really good perk because areas like town, people, you just lose them so fast, and it was solid, and that surprised the fuck out of me.
That is shocking.
Yeah.
That is shocking. I did not try it. So here's what happened to me on Fortune's Keep. It shocked me. Yeah. So we'll get into this in a second, but Tanner and I played one game of Fortune's Keep. I saw a guy with a riot shield. I was going to go kill him because he was looking at Tanner. He stunned me and then assassinated me. And then I said, cool, guess what yellow perk I'm running? Battle Hardened. And then I switched to that, played for 2 more hours, didn't get stunned once.
Yeah, that's how it works. I didn't get stunned or anything once either. That's why I didn't run Battle Hardened either. Very cool.
Which was very cool. So, yeah, that was a great episode. A great, fun, and exciting episode. And that leads to our last announcement here, which is this Saturday, we are going to do a Fortune's Keep Revisited episode. We've played more Fortune's Keep since we talked about it on Patreon, and we will continue to play more Fortune's Keep before Saturday. And we have a lot more to say on Fortune's Keep. There's kind of a little sneak preview, yellow perks, and we have other things to talk about as well. We tried yesterday when we were playing for a couple hours to make a point to like really explore all of the map. Because when we did our first impressions of Fortune's Keep, we were sipping Pinot Grigio, whatever, at the winery the whole time. So we decided to kind of tour the entire island, little tiny island. And therefore we have a lot more to say. And we just played more. Even if we landed winery for the whole time still, we would still have more to say. But yeah, that's what's going on Saturday. For those of you who play Rebirth, Resurgence, Fortune's Keep, you will want to listen to our Saturday public ep that we're going to do all about Fortune's Keep. And I'm looking forward to that one. I think that's going to be a good, fun, and exciting episode.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, we've landed at every POI. We've played a lot more of it now. My opinions have vastly changed on certain things, so I think that'll be a really solid ep. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of new shit to talk about and some opinions we perhaps need to revise from our first impressions episode on Fortune's Keep, which always happens. So, Other than that, that's it for announcements. Let's get into this little fucking sucker. If you're listening for the jingle, here it is.
You said here it is like a absolute little bitch.
Got it. Bjorn! Welcome back!
Here it is.
Resub 21 months, tier 2. Bjorn. With a tier 2, a demon, a Chad. Doubling the tier of most subs. 1 times, well, 2. Yeah, it's 2. Bjorn, welcome back. Yo. And Jay Deshen27, I think is how I pronounce that. With the 9 months prime. Welcome back, Jay. Change your name and your real life last name, probably. And welcome back, buddy, for the 9 whole months and the prime. I appreciate it, dude. Welcome. And to all of you listening, welcome to the show. Today we have an episode. Not much to talk about today.
I added a few more items, but yeah, it won't take a hold.
We have a few things for sure, but not the most things. So first, starting off, playlist updates for the week of the June 30th.
So not live right now.
Say that again.
Not live if you're here live, but if you're listening, this will be live.
Yeah, if you're listening on an app or on YouTube, this will be live. Regular BR on Caldera, solos, trios, duos, quads. I don't know why I went in that order. Golden Plunder quads, don't care. Don't even know what it is, and I don't care. Fortune's Keep Resurgence, solos, duos, trios, quads. And Rebirth Island comes back for Resurgence quads only. So those are the playlist updates for this coming week.
It'll be interesting to see having both in. I wish we could see their statistics to see who's queuing for more. I guess it wouldn't be a good gauge actually, since it's just quads. But I'm wondering if all of like the super resurgent sweats, the super nerds, are going to go back to Rebirth, and then Fortune's Keep will get a little bit worse, you know, or easier lobbies, I guess you could say.
It's a good question.
I hope. Please, all the sweats go back to Rebirth. Get off Fortune's Keep. I beg of you.
I suspect a lot of them are going to be happy that they can play Fortune's Keep Resurgence solos, though, because people love that mode on Rebirth. I feel like...
Well, solos is in right now, still. It's been in.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it is. I didn't even think about it. Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. And that's it for playlist updates. Now, patch notes. Changes already in effect. No real official patch notes except for one. But... this first patch note is a hidden patch note.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned this because this is something I'm surprised I avoided this for so long. But half of the houses in town, the POI on Fortune's Keep, are bugged, and you can get inside the walls and inside the floor and inside the buildings and shoot at people without being seen or fired at. This has been a problem on every single Warzone map before. People getting into train station on Verdansk and shooting you and killing you.
God, that was in for forever.
Yep.
Was that bugged for like a month?
Oh, longer probably, yeah.
There's always a bug.
People getting into airfield on Caldera, and now people getting into little town buildings on Fortune's Keep. So be wary of that. If you're fighting at town, land somewhere else. But just be careful because you might die to someone glitching a wall or something.
You may just want to stay away from town, honestly, because it's as more people start doing it, then those people are going to watch their kill cams that die to it, and they're going to be like, oh, I can get inside that building. Then they're going to do it, and soon half of the lobby is just going to be landing town, sitting inside the walls, shooting out at you, and you can't see or do anything about it. So you're probably better off just avoiding town altogether for now, honestly, because it went from me not seeing anything to me seeing it like 3 times yesterday in a couple hours. And it's only going to get worse. And that won't be fixed this week, I can guarantee it. At the earliest, that'll probably be fixed next week. They may try to do something, some little hot fix this week, but it's like it won't fix it anyways.
I can tell you what's going to happen.
To get in a wall.
They're going to do a small patch. They're going to say they fixed it. It won't be fixed. And then they're going to say they fixed it again, and then maybe most of them will be fixed. And then they'll say it one more time, and then it'll probably be fixed, mostly.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible.
That's what I suspect is going to happen. But yeah, so there's a little note for you. And then also, what is this next item here, Tanner? Because I see a tweet as well. I'm confused. I'm pissing.
So during the last pod, Saturday pod, we were talking about taped grip, and we were saying use taped grip. It's broken right now. You move really, really fast with it. During that pod, as we were talking about that, it had been nerfed like less than an hour prior. It got nerfed. I don't even think they announced it through Raven officially. But it was patched during that, so we released that pod on Monday saying it was still busted. It was not. It had been nerfed by when we were talking about it. We just didn't know at the time because we were live. So taped grip was the one that you were getting the insane movement speed on. So Tully Auckland, who is a Raven senior designer, he tweeted out saying they're working as intended. I know that it might come as a disappointment to some, but we'll own up to the mistake. Fostering a healthy skill gap is a goal, but this was pretty insane. Has good potential for an LTM. I agree. I want to see that as something. I mean, I would honestly like for that. No, I wouldn't. Never mind. I would not want for that to be the base skill. I wouldn't even be able to fight up close more than I think about it. So never mind. But that would be like a fun LTM, like moving around really fast like that. It's like what's that multiplayer? It's like Cranked.
I would want it.
If you could, yeah, you could though.
I think
it was like
could.
It's like playing Cranked in MW multiplayer. That's what it felt like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which was the best game mode after 10's Dom rip.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is a moot point because the movement speed is never going to be this fast in Warzone anyway. But I would take it for sure. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, this is good to hear. But LTMs don't matter. So if it's an LTM, that would be cool. It would be fun, but I don't know. If it's not a change to the core game, I just don't care that much, unfortunately. Yeah. But taped grip is unfortunately now working as intended. So if you were running that only because it's bugged, which is probably the case, there are better grips when taped grip works as intended. Most of the time rather. Make sure you change that attachment on whatever guns you had changed. So there's another little PSA. And that's it. So now we're going to talk about it. So one thing I will say, which I think is worth mentioning, is that besides the bugged buildings at town, this is a surprisingly bug-free season update by Activision standards. Not many buggy issues at all. There's the town buildings. Here's another hidden patch note, because I don't think I said this publicly. They introduced in Season 4 a new setting where you can leave the buy station open if you buy something, so that you can buy multiple items without having to re-interact with the buy station. I thought this was cool. I turned it on, and it does not work as intended. It does not work well. Basically, what was happening to me was that I would press like armor plates and it just simply wouldn't buy them. I'd press it again, it still wouldn't buy them. I'd try to press something else, wouldn't buy it. Press the armor plates again, maybe it would buy them. And it's really buggy and it does not save you time when it doesn't buy the thing you press. So if you want to try that setting, maybe it'll work for you. It was not working for me, and this was on 2 separate days, 2 separate occasions. So be wary if you're going to try that new setting. I think it's a cool new setting in theory. It is not working super well for me. It's not saving me time currently. So there's another hidden patch note. But maybe it's because I'm on PC, maybe it's because I'm on keyboard and mouse. I don't know. But there's another little hidden patch note. But besides those things, this has been a fairly bug-free season, which I want to commend Activision for. Honestly, things have been working pretty well, which is good.
Yeah. Agreed.
So now we're going to talk a little bit. That's it for patch notes. Just quickly about the new guns and the new meta. We've talked a lot about this on our Patreon episodes, patreon.com/Dropshot, best way to support the show. But we'll talk about them here briefly. The UGM is the new light machine gun. It is completely broken and insane. And some of you may be using it or leveling it up. Some of you may know that the meta barrel, the meta attachment, is the burst fire barrel. This is true. This is the best barrel. And this gun is really overpowered and broken. If you're using the burst fire barrel, just so you know, you don't have to press the fire button every time you want to burst. You can simply hold down your fire button and your gun will continue to burst after its burst delay. And if you hold down the fire button and it keeps bursting, it's a lot easier to aim that way and more convenient. So that's something you wouldn't know just by reading the barrel description. I wouldn't have known that unless someone else told me. So if you're using the burst fire barrel right now and you're like bursting manually like an asshole, stop. You can just hold down fire and it'll keep bursting for you. So just in case you didn't know that, now you do. And it seems that's the case for the NZ burst fire barrel as well.
Yeah, definitely for the NZ.
Which is making me wonder if all burst fire weapons in Warzone work this way now. Maybe they do. So
yeah, I don't know.
It's worth trying on every burst fire weapon that you use. You should be using none of them except the UGM one, though. So stop. But
True.
There's a little PSA for you. But this gun is completely broken. Would you agree?
Best long range option for sure right now. That's kind of what we discussed on the brainstorm. Is like, is it better all around than like an NZ41 AR? Like all around, I don't think so, but it is like for long range shooting, it's without a doubt the best gun and easiest gun to use right now. It kills really fast, rick people off headies, but you're gonna lose a lot more gunfights up close with it in medium distances because if you miss a burst, you're gonna die to someone with a full auto gun.
Yeah, less forgiving for that reason.
It is you can. The meta build, look at, I think Warzone Loadout actually has the perfect build for it, but it's like MX Silencer, use the burst barrel, the 125 round mag, and then hatched grip is the best grip. That's the one that gives you like no recoil with it. And you can zoom in 6 times with it, hold down the trigger, it'll fire the burst. By the time that burst is done, the reticle has basically already come back down and reset itself, that recoil recovery. And then by the time the second burst is firing, it's like right back in the original spot again. Correct. Like it does not move. The gun has insane mobility, really good strafe speed. It will for sure be nerfed. Yes, it'll be nerfed next week, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way too good.
Yeah, really good for long range.
Yes, for sure. It does have advantages over the NZ. I think the NZ41 and the UGM are the long range meta right now. And I think it just kind of depends on your playstyle, which one you ought to use. But I would honestly recommend you guys use the UGM because it's going to be nerfed soon. And you might as well use like a burst fire different style of weapon while it's good to freshen up your Warzone experience. For the time being. Because it does freshen my experience up quite a bit. I've been having a fucking lot of fun using it. Yeah. It's a real treat to use. It's really good at ripping people off head glitches. So,
agreed.
There you go. And then the new SMG as well. I'm almost positive that there's no map or play style for which akimbo is better than just setting it up like a normal SMG, unfortunately. The hipfire is just not that good akimbo. I haven't tried it single weapon hipfire yet, but I suspect it's not as good as like the hipfire PPSH used to be, sadly. But if you use the new SMG, the Marco Polo, as a normal ass SMG, it's quite fucking good. And Tanner was enjoying that setup quite a bit yesterday, in fact. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was using it. I think in the Patreon episode we recorded, I had said like it has more recoil than the Blixen, so the Blixen's better at range. I don't know what the time to kill values are, but I was using it yesterday on Fortune's Keep. I changed like the rear grip. I don't know what my setup is, so don't ask me. I'd have to go in game and look, but it had very, very little recoil. It was easier to control than the Blixen build I'm using. I'm also using no stock on the Blixen, and I'm using like the compact grip for better mobility. So I could get that lower recoil on the Blixen if I switch stocks and switch the underbarrel grip. But the Marco was hitting. It was fun to use. I mean, I would lose gunfights, and I would win gunfights up close. It didn't feel insanely broken. It definitely is above average in terms of SMGs, so yeah. I think it's probably ultimately going to fall right below the Blixen. We will see though. I think True Game Data was releasing an SMG video today. He may have already released it, so I'm interested to see what the stat values are in time to kill compared to the Blixen. But it felt good. Yeah, it was it was a fun change of pace, good mobility like every other Vanguard SMG. So It was fun. I was doing pretty well with it.
It seems like a good option for Rebirth/Fortune's Keep because many people, you and I included, don't run an overkill class on our Rebirth, our small map setups. We just run like an SMG and like tempered. And if you're gonna do that, I feel like the Marco is a great option, and maybe even better than a Blixen because it is easier to control and shoot people a little farther away with the Marco than the Blixen, but it's still super competent really up close. And since you don't have an AR, if you're getting tempered off rip, then you need an SMG that can touch a little farther away. So that's another consideration to make. It might be like the best primary only SMG you have in your setup. Just something to consider. Maybe not, because there's a lot of good SMGs, but that's a thought.
Yeah. The other thing the Blixen I'm sure has over the Marco 2 is damage per mag. I don't know. The builds I saw and I was running was the 48 round mag. There's also like a cal down 60 round mag that's going to have like no recoil, but the 48 round mag compared to the Blixen, it's less ammo than the Blixen, and it seems to fire faster. I'm almost positive it has a faster fire rate. So you blow through that a little bit quicker. So in terms of like damage per mag, if you're like get stuck in a 1v3 or something, you can down all 3 people with the Blixen mag. You can't necessarily do that with a Marco, where I think is also where it kind of falls short.
Yeah.
Of being as good as the Blixen.
Yeah.
But it is, I had more fun with it yesterday. I had said that in the Patreon episode that I was like, and it's kind of uninteresting, but I was having more fun on Fortune's Keep with it. After we recorded
Which was right after we recorded, yeah. So if you guys want to hear a lot more about those guns and more of our kind of thoughts in the vein we've just spoken about, they're available on our Patreon. We did a lot of talk about this season and Warzone in general at patreon.com/the Dropshot. The best way to support the show. Now, moving on to news and upcoming changes. A couple items here. Not too much, but some interesting, fun, and exciting things. Tanner, take it away.
So first thing here, this is a tweet from, again, Tolly Auckland, who is the senior game designer for Raven. Someone had tweeted at him, said something about, could we see the NZ get nerfed? This was on June 25th, so this was
4 days ago.
This was after the Season 4 came out, yeah. He said, I don't mind low recoil meta, blah, blah, cycling the STG and NZ effectively feels like the same weapon dominating twice. And so Tolly responded and said, there are weapons that are designed to be very easy to use, but the NZ shouldn't be one of them. I agree. We over-indexed on the enhancements, I assume he means attachments, to make it viable. So I think that's all but confirming the NZ is going to catch another nerf here soon with the next weapon balance update, because he's saying, yeah, you're right. And he had talked about, he's been a big fan of the NZ. I've been following him for a while. He had said when the NZ got nerfed and was finally meta, he was like, I'm glad we're at this point. I've been trying to get the NZ to like fall into the meta AR category. And I'm glad we're finally there. Obviously they did too much and it was too easy to use. I mean, every other AR is, so it's going to be kind of hard to nerf it. But yeah, I think he's pretty much confirming there that will get nerfed here soon. My guess is, I think they actually just don't even need to mess with the time to kill values on these guns. I think they need to give every Vanguard AR an extra 5% recoil, 10% recoil, like something pretty substantial so you can't beam people at 6 times. That's the biggest issue right now, is zooming in 6 times and being able to just fry people. It was not like that when Caldera launched and all the Vanguard guns were dog shit. It was just not, you could not do that. You go and look at the Auto now, which was the original like no recoil gun. It has so much more recoil than the Cooper, the NZ, the STG, the UGM for sure. So much more recoil when you're in 6 times, and all of these new guns just have fucking nothing, and they're so easy to use and kill people at range with.
Yeah.
So I really don't even think the damage needs to be changed on these guns. I think they just need to add flat recoil across the board or something.
Yeah.
So people miss more shots, and then that's making the time to kill slower.
Yeah, you made that point on a Patreon episode we did yesterday. Yep. That like that's part of it's part of, and this is part of what you said, which I agree with. This is part of what makes sniping not as viable anymore. Is because it's like okay, why am I going to snipe if I can zoom in almost as much as a sniper and just rip you full auto and miss like no bullets with most of the meta guns now? Every meta gun now. It's like, well, I won't. It's dumb. So then it's like, if you're like really long range and you're trying to snipe some guy, if all the other guy had was a VLK, then you wouldn't have to experience nearly as much flinch, and then sniping would be really good. But because they can all zoom 6x and then fuck you and then make you start flinching, you can't really snipe them back, even though you're basically at sniper range. And then it makes snipers like way worse than they should be. They ought to be, which is annoying. So yeah, a nerf to all of them would be good. I do like though that the senior game designer said there are weapons that are designed to be very easy to use, but the NZ shouldn't be one of them. I like the design philosophy that there do exist some weapons that should be easy to use and others that shouldn't be super easy to use, which is kind of like the Kilo versus the AMAX kind of meta question back in the day. The AMAX killed faster, but it was harder to use. Kilo killed slower, but you would always hit every shot. Which one do you want to use? Well, depends how accurate you are, I guess. That's how you should design weapons, and it's good to see the senior game dev, designer, whatever, making that statement on the TL. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Next, Tanner. Very exciting. What do we got?
Yeah, so I guess we'll kind of start off here. I didn't realize Tom had tweeted this out until right now, but there's been some info going around talking about DMZ mode and now how it's set to launch in 2023. So
that's what everyone is saying except
that's what Tom. Everyone's saying except for Tom. So Ghost of Hope is saying Treyarch and Infinity Ward are both working on DMZ. That's believable, by the way. That's interesting to see, but that's believable. So apparently Treyarch is helping with this, which makes sense. They're not doing a game next year, so sounds like they will be assisting Infinity Ward on DMZ, which I feel like they do a good job at they could do a good job at like the lore type shit, maybe kind of like their dumb Easter eggs and stuff they do in Zombies. I feel like they could do a good job at doing like a story driven type thing and helping with DMZ mode. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, maybe they can do the character models too, so I can see them.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Have you played Shino Numa? Can't see the zombies when you're firing.
Yeah, that's a great point. Anyway.
UGM, by the way, there's so much muzzle flash with that sucker, I could not see the zombies in front of me.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it.
I'm not kidding. When I was playing with lag the other night, I was holding down the trigger firing, and I was staring at my mini-map, watching how many of the horde that I was killing, because I couldn't see them over the muzzle flash, and the optic is crazy.
Yeah, that's with an optic. That's so insane.
Yeah, so this all kind of started last week. Ralph's Valve posted an article, and I'll read part of it, and he said, quote, Tarkov-inspired mode currently dubbed Project Nexus, set to release free-to-play for 2023. So it's a pretty short article. Here's part of it, though. He's saying at launch, we'll see a traditional COD release bundled with single-player, multiplayer, and all-new co-op experience, followed by Warzone 2, reportedly set to release in December of this year. MW2's rumored DMZ is being described as an open-world title following an elaborate storyline in continuation from the campaign. I don't know if we had heard that before.
I don't remember.
I don't know if we talked about that publicly. Yeah, okay, because I had seen that somewhere else. I think it was probably just for another tweet of his at an earlier time, but we never talked about it. So supposedly this DMZ mode is following the story and the lore from MW2 multiplayer. So that would also make sense that it's not releasing on launch. Maybe giving people a little bit of time to play the campaign. But we've never been expecting DMZ to release on launch day with MW2.
And I still am not expecting that. Yeah.
Agreed. So what's next here? So characters, fronts, and quests incorporate aspects of PvE and PvP events. An associate suggested that the mode would be released independently in beta, given its current pre-alpha stamp in development. Development for the title has been shaky, seeing numerous delays in development as a result of Treyarch's delayed premium title. Now, given the 2-year space, IDub wiped the slate clean and revisited their content schedule, assigning the rumored DMZ to release in Q1 of 2023 on the condition that MW2 and Warzone meets expectations.
Yeah. Huh.
Supposedly, there's an announcement coming in August for the mode, because they still haven't publicly announced it. So that was all said, and a few days later, Tom had been quiet on the TL, which we had talked about in the interview with him. He says if he doesn't tweet about things that are rumors that are going around, it's because he either doesn't believe it and just doesn't want to call the person out, or he's checking with his sources.
He's waiting for confirmation.
He's waiting for confirmation from his sources to see if that's true. So Tom tweets out.
Such a Chad.
3 days later. I should have a bit of information on MW2 here towards the end of the week and debunk some of the weird rumors out there. Just getting some further corroboration. Stay frosty. So he says MW2, he doesn't say DMZ, but that could very likely mean DMZ mode, and he still hasn't confirmed this. So hopefully, well, actually, we may be hearing something from him in the next couple days then, hopefully, on this.
Yeah.
And we'll find out what he's heard about DMZ, because he told us DMZ is coming out this year, later this year, after launch. And that's what we've always heard too, until this suddenly came out. And now all the leakers are dead set on this. So what are you thinking?
I don't know what to think, man. Because, okay. So first of all, Tom said, debunk some of the weird rumors out there. There really aren't any other rumors out there right now regarding Call of Duty.
Not that I've heard.
So he must be referring to DMZ releasing in 2023. Here's the thing, though. According to Tom, we're getting DMZ, MW2, and Warzone 2 all coming out this year. And if so, all inside of 2 months? That's like really surprising to me. Because it would be MW2 coming out in October, and then what? DMZ comes out in November, and then Warzone 2 in December? That seems really hard to believe.
Yeah, that is true. That is a good point.
If it were not for Tom, I would say I don't believe it, and I think DMZ will come out next year. But I trust Tom more than all these leakers and my own intuition.
Yeah.
And with that said, Tom hasn't said anything about DMZ release date since he was on our podcast. So maybe he's going to corroborate further and then confirm that DMZ did get delayed again till 2023, whenever he does come out with what he's going to talk about, which should be any day now. That's possible. I would even say possibly probable, because I find it very hard to believe we're getting 3 big content drops in a month, back to back to back. That seems like super unlikely to me, but I believe Tom more than anyone else. So I'm kind of right now waiting for Tom to tell us more. That's where I'm at. And if Tom comes back and says, no, sorry, dumb fucks, DMZ is coming out this year, then I'm going to believe DMZ is coming out this year. Because I trust 100%. Him more than every other leaker combined. And
so we're just waiting for what he says at this point.
Where
and
I'm
then
at,
and then we'll believe that. If he says DMZ comes out Friday night, then I'll say, okay, DMZ's coming out this Friday night.
I guess it's coming out Friday night,
Suck his cock, I don't care. So
what are your thoughts? What do you think?
That doesn't make a lot of sense, though, that it would come out next year, because that's a lot of content to drop before Christmas. So hey, I don't want a buggy multiplayer, a buggy DMZ, and a buggy Warzone before Christmas.
I know.
And again, as we talked about on the episode with Tom, they confirmed that they know the mistake they've made the last couple of years in Warzone, introducing a bunch of stuff, putting the DMR in the video game from Cold War, not patching it for almost 30 days over Christmas break, because they were all enjoying their time with their families. and I wanted to kill my family because I was so mad at the video game for dying to DMRs. So I almost committed mass murder at the hands of Activision and their development studios because they did not nerf the DMR, and it made me rage in real life.
Correct.
So the blood is on your hands, Activision.
If you fuck it up this year, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think they'll do that again. I really do believe that. So Warzone's probably going to release like early December, late November. And then, yeah, you're right. Where does DMZ fit in there? Where does it fit in that time frame? It kind of doesn't. It really doesn't. Yeah. Really doesn't.
Unless DMZ comes out like mid-November. You know? Because MW2 is October 28th. And then Warzone 2 is December. And probably earlier December, because they said they learned from their mistakes. So let's call that December 7th. So that's like 5 weeks between MW2 and Warzone 2. DMZ isn't going to come out later than December 7th, I hope. Because, yeah, they'll all be on Christmas break. So if that's the case, DMZ would be coming out before December 7th. So what would that be? Like November 14th? Like a game comes out, 2 weeks later, another game, 3 weeks later, another game. That sounds crazy. But I trust in Tom, dude. In Tom we trust on the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast. So I don't know. I'm just waiting for Tom to tell us more, honestly.
You know, and there could be some massive disconnect that has happened too, even with who he's talked to and what they've heard. Maybe it is something like DMZ is the rumored title that's going to make them money in 2023. That's going to replace having a main paid video game. And yeah, maybe it is just DMZ, and it's nothing to do with zombies. It's nothing to do with anything else. It's not COD. It's not Warzone Mobile. Maybe it's just DMZ.
You know what could be possible too is DMZ is tied to the Warzone 2 client, and they come out at the same time. So like when Warzone 2 releases,
that makes a ton of sense.
DMZ also comes out.
It would be. You would think it would essentially launch the same way as Warzone. You're right when you think about it.
It's going to share the map and so many other
all
assets.
The rumors and leaks have said it's sharing the maps. You're right.
So maybe that's the key. That would make the most sense to me if everything's coming out this year, honestly.
It could be. Maybe it's that then, and then maybe... Because if it's launching in beta, if it's a buggy disaster over Christmas, they'll just say, sorry, it is a beta.
True.
And that's how they'll get by it.
True.
And it will be... A mode like that, I feel like, will be way buggier than Warzone will be on launch. They've also rumored... This article said that too. Ralph Valve said this in this article, that they've supposedly been working on this mode for 4 years.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's a lot of time.
That's a lot
of time to work on this mode.
Did the engine even exist 4 years ago? I don't know how they developed something.
Well, they're still in the same. They're still in the same Warzone engine, just like upgraded or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
the same thing.
Yeah,
it's like, I think it's like basically they can design it, and then it's as simple as upgrading your Windows, something similar to that. It's not, but I think it's basically like that.
Yeah, like
things just get better, but then you can. I don't know. I would actually want to talk to some sort of game dev on the pod. That would be cool. That's worked on some large game, you know?
Yeah.
That knows this shit, actually.
Yeah, we'd have to think a lot about questions we have.
Yeah, that's true. I actually may not have that many questions unless they worked on Call of Duty itself.
I would want to know so much. I have so many questions, but I wouldn't know what to ask because I don't do game development. Like, there's one example of a question we would want to ask. Like, okay, how do you start developing a game before the fucking engine or whatever? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'd say, hey, how do you develop a game? That would be our question.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, it's pretty simple.
Either way, though, this is exciting. I hope everything comes out before 2023. The sooner I get a bunch of content, the better. That would be fucking cool. But, yeah, we'll let you guys know. Hopefully by next week. Probably by next week. Tom will have said more, and then we can dive into that info.
Yeah.
And speculate further on his behalf, or on our behalf, I guess. I don't know.
I would honestly, I think, rather be drip fed the content and get DMZ like 3 months after Warzone drops. Then it feels like, there's people that bitch about Activision like drip feeding the content through the season, but honestly, it works out pretty well. If they give it to you at one time, you're going to be bored in a week. It gives you something else to look forward to. Like, I don't really see how people can hate on that. I think I would almost rather have DMZ do that. Then you get to that point again where it's like you feel overwhelmed. That's how game launches can be. It's like, fuck, I want to get my camo on MW2. I want to level up these guns in multiplayer and get my camo for it. But shit, Warzone just came out. Now I want to start playing Warzone. Oh no, DMZ also launched with Warzone. I want to try that. And it's like you're completely overwhelmed. So really, I would rather DMZ launch in 2023.
I think you're probably right.
I mean, like months later, like 3 months after Warzone, I think.
Yeah.
And that would still fall in the Q1 category too.
True. So we'll see. And we'll let you guys know as Tom hopefully lets us know pretty soon. So other than that, Tanner, anything else you'd like to discuss?
No.
All right. So yeah, as we said, pretty short ep today, boys and girls, but we will have more hopefully next week. I'm most excited next week for the DMZ shit. Hopefully we learn more about that. And if we do, we will let you guys know on the podcast. Reminder again, this Saturday, Fortune's Keep Revisited, Second Impressions. That's going to be a really fun episode. We already have a lot to talk about with Fortune's Keep that we haven't talked about yet. We played it a lot more and we'll continue to do so. So if you like Fortune's Keep, if you like Rebirth Island, be there Saturday. It's going to be a good, fun, and exciting time. Patreon.com/Dropshot is the best way to support the show. 7 bonus episodes per month, monthly hangouts, and more. Check it out. You can go to thedropshot.com and find a link to the Patreon and to everything else. Once again, Patreon is the best way to support the program, and we have a lot of bonus episodes coming down the pike and already available. So that is that. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys Saturday. Have an excellent evening, of course. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Stumble.